it was an absolute shock. It was completely different to what we have seen in India growing up. Obviously, I've learned about my culture more in the UK than being in India, but I think it was the best decision to leave accounting and start construction. Yeah, so there's nothing that I don't want to do. I actually want to do everything. It was the first time I went on stage. I was so shy, and my legs were just shivering. Absolutely, I think it's all in your head, and once you overcome that, you can do anything you want. But I think if somebody wants to get into modeling, it doesn't matter how you look. You can just go for it. And then I got to enter this competition, Mr. Manchester. I won that. And then on the basis of that, I got to do Mr. British Isles. I won that as well in media. Now, if you've got any job you apply to, the first question they ask is, what's your Instagram handle?
My guest today is an actor, model, and an avid cricketer. He has won titles such as Mr. Manchester 2018 and Mr. British Isles Elegant 2019. Welcome, Navjot Sidhu. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good. Thank you.
Appreciate your time and appreciate you doing this. What I like to do at the beginning of each episode is basically take a trip down memory lane and basically just ask you about your childhood, your upbringing, and what you were like as a kid. So, yeah, what were you like as a kid?
So I was born in India, in Delhi. Lived there for 16 years. I moved here right after my high school. We normally start school early in India, so we finish by the time we are 16 or 17. So I went to uni here. I did a degree in accounting and finance. Completed my ACCA while I was working for a construction firm as an assistant accountant. And then I kept on going to the sites and just trying to learn what construction is about. And it was so much to learn that I actually kept accounting at the side and started into properties. And I've been doing it ever since. So
Yeah.
I never looked back at accounting, and I've been doing property development for the last 10 to 12 years now. So at the moment, I've got my own sites. I do work for clients as well. I help them with planning, with construction, and all basically property related activities.
Well, that's not exactly what I was expecting. To be fair,
I
I,
know.
I stumbled across obviously your Instagram page, and as I said in the introduction, there, Mr. Manchester 2018. So
I
my
know.
first thought was, oh, he's probably from
I've been
Manchester.
doing it. Yeah. So I grew up in London after when I came from India. Modeling is started by one of my best friends. So we were here together for about 7 or 8 years, and he got a good contract in Mumbai. So he went there, and he was there for about 6 to 7 years. He worked in a lot of Bollywood movies as well. He did ads all around the world in Dubai, and he always wanted me to be a model as well. So he always said, "Look, come to Mumbai. We'll do this. We'll do that." And unfortunately, he died in an accident while on a shoot in India, and that really got to me. That was December 2015 it was. And then I just wanted to carry on his legacy. So I went to India as well to see his brother and his mum. And then I just started into modeling, started doing shoots, started doing ads. And then I got to enter this competition, Mr. Manchester. I won that. And then on the basis of that, I got to do Mr. British Isles. So I won that as well last year. And then since then, on the side, I've been doing ads for some Indian companies. So I went to Paris, I went to Milan, I went to Bombay to shoot a lot of ads. Yeah, so I've been doing that on the side. And recently, I've become a producer now. So I'm launching Punjabi Singer, a really talented 19-year-old kid who has just come from India as a student, but his voice is absolutely amazing. So he was actually working on one of my sites, and I heard him singing in the break, and it was just amazing. It was the best voice I've heard this year. So I took him to one of the renowned music director in the UK. I won't mention his name, and he loved him as well. So we are in the middle of recording his first song, and we'll probably produce it by February or March next year.
Busy guy, that busy guy. There's pretty much everything going on there. So you producer for music now. You've got property on the go. You've got acting, modeling. You're all over the world.
I do a lot of cricket coaching as well. So I coach a lot of kids. So I play and coach at Radlett in Hertfordshire. That's where Middlesex cricket is based. So I've been playing for that club for the last 4 years. So I'm heavily involved with that as well.
I've seen that you're a level 2 coach.
I'm a level 2 cricket coach as well. Yeah.
A jack of all trades.
So there's nothing that I don't want to do. I actually want to do everything in life.
So is it basically whatever piques your attention, you just go full throttle into that?
Absolutely. That's
which I think is the best way to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
Especially nowadays, like obviously with the internet at hand, you can do anything that you want to, which is amazing. So going back to because we've got a lot of information there to unpack, probably like an hour's worth just in that thing. But going back to the beginning, so what was it like growing up in Delhi?
It was good. Childhood was good. We had internet, but not that much. That's early 2000s. I'm talking about late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It was all when we come back from school, we go to tuitions because tuitions are a big thing in India. And then we come home, we play. We used to play cricket and football on the roads. That's how our childhood was. And then it was probably the same as well when I came here. I went to uni, played a bit of cricket, played a lot of football, being a football nation. And then I stayed away from sports for a good 6 to 8 years when I was working. And then I just got back into it 5 years ago. So I've been playing cricket. So I've played 4 regular seasons in the UK now.
When you came over from Delhi for like your education stuff, did you feel any bit of a culture shock, or was it?
It was a massive shock. Even small day-to-day things. It was different. It took me about 3 months to adjust.
Yeah.
But
what were the things that you noticed were like the biggest differences?
Weather was one,
obviously.
And I don't know, it's just the way people behave, to be honest. Road things people do day-to-day life, even while they're driving, or the way they talk, the way they behave with you. It was an absolute shock. It was completely different to what we have seen in India growing up. It was completely different in a positive way.
In a positive way?
Yeah, in a positive way, absolutely.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, I didn't know if when you said the way people talk, I didn't know if you meant people were more rude here or more rude there. Because you're coming from Delhi, which is obviously the capital, and I imagine a lot of hustle and bustle, to London, which is the capital, and a lot of hustle and bustle as well. The one thing that I can imagine is quieter is the roads, because you're not hearing horns.
The traffic, absolutely.
Horns every 2 seconds.
Unless obviously you go to Southall.
Oh well, yeah. Then you're basically back in India.
Absolutely.
And then you said you got basically into construction through your accountancy, and you've been doing that ever since. Is that something that, like you said, you just sort of stumbled across, that wasn't part of the plan or anything?
Yeah, that wasn't part of the plan at all. I actually wanted to work for one of the big fours as an accountant, and I got a placement in a construction firm. And then while working as an accountant, I just got to go on the site one day, and I really liked it. I wanted to know what they're doing. And then it took me a good 2 years to basically learn everything. But I think it was the best decision to leave accounting and start construction, because that gives me so much free time, not basically working for one of the firms, working from 9 to 5, sitting in the office doing somebody's accounts. I'd rather go on construction sites, and then I've got so much free time to do my other things.
Yeah.
Which is a bonus.
Definitely. And then, as you said, like you found a singer on one of your construction sites. So I'm guessing, is there a lot of, is it based in London, the construction sites that you've got?
Yeah. No, so we work everywhere. So at the moment we've got I've got 2 sites in Rickmansworth, which is in Hertfordshire, and one in Harrow.
Right.
So yeah, so we just stumbled across a lot of subcontractors and people working for them. So we have like 40 or 50 people coming on sites, and yeah, so it was just one of those that one day in the break, one of the guys was singing, and he was just amazing.
Yeah, fair enough. When you're in like for musically, is that what you listen to more, like Punjabi music or Bhangra music?
Yeah,
Because obviously in
yeah,
Delhi it's
Delhi is different. It's a lot of Bollywood in there, but for the last decade, I think it's all about Punjabi music.
yeah,
Even in Bollywood or the whole of India, even if they don't understand it, they love the beats.
yeah.
I think that's what it is. Even you'll be surprised, even in Europe. I've got some family in Germany, and they were listening to Jazz Tommy when I went there 3-4 years ago.
Oh
So
wow.
I think Punjabi music is taking over. Yeah, and that's what I listen to most of the times.
Definitely, you hear a lot of like Bollywood remakes of Punjabi music now as well. Yeah,
Exactly.
and then how does what you sort of mentioned it before? How did he stumble into modeling? You said one of your friends was a model, and then how did he? What is the criteria for somebody to say, yeah, you're good at modeling? Because obviously, yeah, like handsome looking lad and stuff, but what else goes into it? Do you just have to be good looking, or is there other elements to it?
I think it's more about confidence, to be honest. I was really stage shy, and I'm even my ability to speak in front of somebody. I don't know how am I doing it in front of you, but I
You do it
I
well.
can't speak in front of someone. And it was the first time I went on stage. I was so shy, and my legs were just shivering. Um, and it's really hard, but it's just the more amount of time you put in if you
Mhm.
want to do something. So one of the guys who was helping me, he said, look, when you're in your house, just walk from your kitchen to your living room, from your bedroom to your other bedroom, and see how it feels. And then when you go on stage, do exactly the same. Just don't think someone's sitting there watching you. Just walk like you're the king of the UK.
Yeah,
Just walk like a prince, and then you will never look back. And then I tried that. I tried walking when I thought no one's looking at me, and that was it. That killed my fear.
so,
Um,
so a lot of it is actually just to do with like the psychological side of things, and not just the
absolutely,
appearance.
absolutely. I think it's all in your head, and once you overcome that, you can do anything you want.
Yeah,
I think the perfect example I'd give you is, well, somebody I know, one of my friends. Her name is Karanjeet Corbains. She is 2-time Commonwealth champion in powerlifting for the UK. So she's been doing it since early age, and she also qualified as an accountant this year. So she didn't have to do that. She was a powerlifter for the UK, but then she still went on, and she wanted to do ACA as a day job, and she did that.
yeah,
So if you want to pick something up, if you want to do it, give it 100%, and you will overcome that.
100%.
And
Couldn't agree
that's
more. I have followed Karanji's story as well. It's someone that
yeah,
I'd love to speak to because, but like she is not only is like, oh, we're not represented too much in as generally as Asians, but like women
yeah,
in sports, and then on top Asian is even more.
exactly. That's unbelievable. Her journey is unbelievable.
Definitely. And then do as we was just saying there, like with representation, like do you feel like how is it like in terms of diversity in the modeling industry? Because I
I
don't really see
think,
that many Indian faces.
well, back in the days, it used to be, and now, I don't know, companies, they are looking for other faces. They want different faces. It doesn't really matter if you're good looking or not. It just, you are good looking in one way.
Yeah,
You are good looking in one way. So, um, and even some of the companies, they even hiring plus size models. Even for the guys, if you're big, you can still get a modeling contract, not a problem. So it doesn't matter how you look. There's always something. There's always a company that will want you. So if you think you can do it, you can do it.
yeah. I had that on my notes here. Is that like the diversity seems to be more like weight
It's such a
related.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Currently, like I remember there was that thing maybe a year or two ago where I think it was Nike had their fitness wear and they
Yeah.
had the plus size model and it became like
Um,
a big
yeah.
controversy. But like if you're starting your journey to lose weight, you're most likely gonna like identify closer to the plus size person than the skinny
Exactly.
person. So
Exactly.
it's more like relatability. And you see in gentlemen's brands like Giacomo, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Exactly.
Like
No,
the whole
yeah.
brand
Yeah.
is based on being bigger, I guess. But
Yeah.
you think that because you said that most of your jobs early on or with your friend were back in India, but do you think that it's coming over here as well? Like the diversity?
Absolutely. But I think on a bigger scale as well now. So I get a lot of jobs. So there are so many apps now that you can apply to. So you don't have to have an agent. You don't even have to have a modeling company. You can just sign up to those apps, send a picture of yourself. If the company likes you, they will hire you. So the middleman is gone out of the business now. There's so many apps out there. You pay a £30 fee for 12 months and you just sign up and you just go from there.
And then the company who wants to hire you, they'll just have like a sheet of faces and they'll just click on whoever they want.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Makes it a lot
And if they
simpler.
like you, exactly.
And then what happens in the next step? Because like obviously a person in front of a screen, although like pictures is what they want at the end of the day, but person
Yeah.
behind a screen and in person can be very different. So do you have to go to interviews afterwards or?
You well, yeah, for now you're doing a lot of Zoom interviews, but before that, let's say last year, they will call you for auditions. So that you will have 10 or 20 other models sitting there for the same thing. Um, that does make you nervous,
Yeah.
but because you have to walk in front of them. Well, sometimes you have to do personally in a room, but sometimes they tell you to walk in front of the other 10 models or pause in front of the other 10 models. You do get nervous, but that's what you need to overcome. Um, but I think if somebody wants to get into modeling, it doesn't matter how you look. You can just go for it.
That's good advice because I think
Yeah.
like the perception is basically oh you have to be a 10 out of 10 in terms of looks to go in, but
No.
obviously what you're saying is the complete opposite. It's more
Yeah.
psychological than.
Exactly. Exactly. If you can overcome the stage, if you can overcome uh, what you think, what people will think about you, that's it. If you've killed that, you've killed everything. You can do anything you want. And I think anyone can be a model from even though the baby 2 years old can be a model.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of companies out there who are actually looking for babies now, but yeah, anyone can be a model, and it's a hard industry to get in because for the first for 5 or 10 jobs you don't get paid because if you're new, um, they just and I think it's good for the models as well. Working for free for the first 4 or 5 shoots, just so they learn that what this business is all about,
Yeah.
how to pose, how to do everything. Exactly like a semi-pro footballer.
Yeah.
They don't get paid until they make pro, so they have to do all the hard work
It's like an
to get to the
internship.
next stage. Yeah, exactly, to get to the next stage. But there are a lot of modeling agencies who try to con people out there. They will ask for a grand, 1,500, 2 grand worth of photo shoots. They will tell you to pay that much money. I will advise you don't need them. Um, in the age of iPhones and Samsungs and all those cameras, you don't need a modeling company to basically give you your photos for about £1,500. You can get them done privately. You
Yeah.
can even tell your friend to take your picture, and then if you have to Photoshop it, you have to Photoshop it.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
I think
So
that's another question that I was curious about. So like, obviously the term Instagram model is obviously more and more popular as the years go
yeah,
on. So
yeah,
for like a traditional model and an Instagram model, what are the key differences? Because I know that obviously you're getting paid, you're working for brands, but
yeah,
some obviously influencers or Instagram models can build their social profile to a point where they
absolutely.
will also be working with brands.
Yeah.
So what would you think are like the distinctions between the two?
I think the difference is if you want to start through Instagram or any other social media, it will take a lot of time, unless obviously you've got 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
But if you're starting fresh, it will take a lot of time building that up, unless obviously you hire a digital marketing company who will promote you, which again costs a lot of money. So I will still advise for people to actually look for companies who are looking for models, even if they're not paying. Even if you do it just for work experience and you see what's going on behind the scenes, what other things are involved, um, and do it that way.
Yeah.
That's much easier way to do it, and then you learn a lot as well.
Yeah. Like, and do you ever feel pressure? Because obviously mental health conversations happen with a lot of people who are in the spotlight and a lot of people who are based basically off their looks. Do you ever feel the pressure to always, you've got your clean
I
beard
know.
cut here, you've got your clean
Yeah, yeah,
trim, and like to keep your appearance like 10 out of 10. Do you ever feel that pressure? Like you can't probably go out on a binge because you might have to have a
absolutely,
shoot.
absolutely. I think the pressure is more upon if you really like a project or a job or a movie or an ad that you've given your 100% and then you don't get it, and even you think you were you were the best guy or a best girl in the room, and you still didn't get the job because of some rubbish reason. I think that really pulls you down.
Yeah.
But um, I think people should just forget about that and just move on, because it's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of people I know. Um, it also happens that you are offered something, and then just before you start, they've got somebody else to do the same job, because of a phone call or uh, because of any stupid reason.
Yeah.
That actually happened to me as well. So I was offered something really big in India. I went to India for a week to Bombay. Everything was done, and then when I came back, it was I had a phone call saying, "Thank you, but no thank you. We've got somebody else now."
Oh no.
So,
But do
so
do you still
yeah,
get like paid for obviously all of that, even if
yeah,
they're
yeah.
not
So
going to use it?
yeah, absolutely. So you get paid for your expenses and stuff
Right.
for actually going out there and stuff. But still, it's like a heartbreak, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you put your so much time and your soul into it, and then you don't get it end of the day, there will be a heartbreak. Um, but that's what I will tell people, that don't worry about those. Just keep going. If you want to go, just keep going.
I assume like a lot of things will be like obviously out of your control. Like you're saying there, you got to focus on yourself. Is like
Absolutely.
politics and things. Does that come into
Yeah.
play like in the modeling
A
industry?
lot, a lot in this industry is, it's not a good industry to be in,
Yeah.
but but if you're determined, you can go a long way.
So yeah, you have to obviously have like a proper passion for it. Otherwise, like the first couple of hurdles, like you're saying, a lot of people would
Exactly.
probably just quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I assume that you're into your fitness as well, because to keep in good shape, to keep in like well, good physique, to be
Yeah.
presentable in photos and things. And I've seen obviously on your Instagram as well, you do a bit of fitness here and there. So like,
Yeah.
what's your fitness sort of routine like? How often do you go?
So obviously, since the lockdown is finished, I tend to go 3 to 4 times a week to the gym.
Mhm. Yeah,
And it's more about being fit rather than going big, um, or working on your muscles. It's more about being fit and um, eating healthy as well.
yeah,
And being fit, it requires 70% of eating healthy, and then 30% of your gym and exercise. So it's more about what you eat. So I do stick to my eating habits.
yeah,
So yeah, not eat junk too much.
yeah,
Try to
yeah.
stay away from that. Probably once a month as a cheat meal. But yeah, that's about it.
Staying away from all the jalebi and the gulab jamun
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
then. And so where has like modeling taken you around the world? So you mentioned before like Milan, Paris, and obviously you started off by going to Mumbai with your friend.
Yeah.
I've seen that you went to Toronto as well, but I'm not sure if that was for modeling. So
That actually was. So I was invited to the TIFF. It's the Toronto International Film Festival.
Okay.
So it was really good experience. I got to meet Priyanka Chopra. I got to meet J-Lo.
Wow.
So it was pretty good. It was pretty good. That city was amazing. So I went there last September.
Yeah. What is probably one of the better locations that you've been to? Because obviously the ones that you've named have all been very, very high quality. But what are
Yeah,
your personal favorites, and like for what reason?
I'll say Toronto because it was just amazing. It was amazing. People were really good. Food is the same anyways, but it was amazing city. I actually did go to Vancouver before that to see my brother. My younger brother's there, but Toronto was completely different. It was really really nice.
Yeah.
Much different to how London looks. It was completely different. Just the way. Obviously, it was cold as well. But I just liked it. There was something about Toronto that I really liked, and I would love to go there again, probably next year.
That is another like really multicultural city as well. Like it
Absolutely,
does have a lot
yeah,
of happening and stuff around there.
yeah.
I've got cousins who live there, but I've never been able to go. So
And you would love it. You would absolutely love it.
yeah, it sounds cool. And if you bump into Drake on the street, then it might be an added bonus.
Exactly. It's funny you say that. So right outside the film festival, there was a guy just playing his guitar, singing, and I was wearing this blazer that I got from a fashion designer from the UK. So I was wearing that, and the guy come up to me saying, "Oh, I really like your blazer," and I was like, "Okay." He gave me a compliment, so I just didn't think any of it. I went, and then he met me again on the same road, and he said, "Can I have a picture with you?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" So I got a picture with him. He gave me his Instagram, and that's it. Off we went. And I checked later on, he was a multi-award winner in music in
Oh,
Canada. So so it was like such a big name in Canada, and he was there. He was taking pictures with me for no reason. He was just singing and playing his guitar on the road outside the festival with no tension at all. And then when I checked up on his Instagram, blue ticked and everything.
yeah.
And I sent him a message after that, and he said, "Look, I would love to meet you again next year." So it was just crazy. It was crazy.
It's like a never judge a book by its cover sort of moment.
Exactly, exactly. That's what it was.
That's super dope. Do you? I'm guessing you don't, but do you ever get like tired of traveling because like it is a part of your job sort of thing? Like obviously people who go to an office Monday morning, they're like, oh no, I've got to go to the office.
Oh
Like for you,
no,
it's like, oh no, I've got to go to Paris.
no, I actually love it. I actually love traveling. Um, but this year I've got a young daughter in the middle of the COVID. But apart from yeah,
Congratulations.
if she was, thank you. If she wasn't around, then I would have gone. I would have gone to 2 3 places. I was meant to go Canada this year as well, but yeah, COVID didn't really help us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love traveling.
Yeah.
I love
When you
traveling.
go traveling, do you get a lot of time outside of work to explore
Oh
and
yeah,
things?
yeah, yeah,
Get a lot of
absolutely.
free
I'll
time.
make sure that I get 2 or 3 days on top of what I'm there for.
Right.
So at
Okay.
least you can explore the city or the town wherever you are.
Yeah.
So I always make sure I get that.
Definitely. Do you what kind of like tourist are you? Are you like just sit in the taxi and travel around everywhere to go see all the sights, or do you want to get
I love walking. No, I love walking. So I'm more of a city kind of a person. I love towns and cities and architecture.
yeah,
Um, and then yeah, so I loved it. So first time I went Mumbai in my life, that was about 4 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved the city. It's so nice and so safe. I know when you talk about India, one of the cities in India probably be the last city in the world you think will be safe, but Mumbai is such a safe city, even for girls. Walking 2 a.m. in the morning, you won't have a problem.
oh
So
really?
I loved that thing about Mumbai. It was so safe, um, and yeah, even the people there were different as well to Delhi if you're comparing.
Yeah,
And it was just a very nice experience.
a lot more modern, would you say?
Um, yeah, yeah,
It's probably
but
hard
a
to
lot more
describe.
safe. Yeah, a lot more safe because I saw girls walking 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning without any problem, without people eve teasing them or passing comments.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in Delhi, you get that a lot.
Yeah.
But Mumbai was very different.
I've not been, but that is a surprise to myself because I think my perception was that still occurred,
Exactly.
and plus, like when you're looking from the outside, well, when you hear things, obviously, like the wealth gap in Mumbai as well. So you, like you were saying, like it's really clean and safe. That isn't what I was thinking, but again, don't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly. You would love it when you go there. You would love it.
I think similarly, like when I go on like holiday and things, I am very much a city person. I don't think I could
rather than a beach.
Oh no!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
my
me
worst
as
nightmare.
well.
Worst
Yeah,
nightmare.
exactly.
I seen you went to Italy. I went a couple of years ago as well, and literally like every day that we were there, we were just planning things for the next day ahead. So we ended up going to Rome, and we were like maybe half a mile away from the Colosseum. That's where our Airbnb was.
Yeah, that's where I was. Yeah, I've got a good story about Rome as well.
That was the time to tell it.
So a few years ago, Pope from the Vatican City, he wanted to have his own cricket team. Funny enough.
Okay.
So what he did was, obviously there were not many cricketers in Rome or the Vatican City. So what he did, he didn't go, but he sent somebody to India, and he found 4 or 5 people who are Catholic and who can play cricket.
Mm-hmm.
So he got them a work permit, went back to Vatican City and made a team called the Vatican 11.
Right.
So I went last year in April to actually play a game against them in Rome.
Okay.
So we couldn't meet the Pope, probably next year, but yeah, we played against him and it was amazing. It was
what was that in the Vatican?
Really great. It was right outside the Vatican, but it was the team from the Vatican.
Wow.
So it was all the 11 Catholics who actually work for Pope, and they play cricket as well. So they came out of the Vatican in Rome to play 2 games against us, and then obviously went back in.
I never knew that. So the Pope had his own cricket team.
He's got his own cricket team.
Did you get
if you Google it,
mm-hmm.
It's called Vatican 11. And they normally tour the UK as well. So they come every year to the UK to play a game against the Interfaith 11.
Yeah.
So they play other faiths, which is again a great thing.
Definitely, it highlights that diversity. Definitely. Did you get have a chance to tour around the Vatican when you were there?
No. So I think there was something that we couldn't do it for some reason, but they said so. We going again in April,
mm-hmm.
And we'll be allowed in this time. So we might get to meet the Pope.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Even just inside, like the artwork
Absolutely,
inside.
Just to go in there.
Yeah. Like when me and my mate went, that was one of the things that we really want to do, because the Sistine Chapels is unbelievable. And then I don't know, like I don't know how to really describe this, but like even going into St. George's, like the massive cathedral.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the nice, like, right thing to say or not, but it did feel sort of quite similar to like Amritsar, like just like there's holy places in the world where you just go there and you feel quite tranquil, sort of thing. But yeah, honestly, it was a really good experience. As we've mentioned a few times, there's like COVID. So how has that like sort of impacted your last year? Construction wise, modeling wise, cricket wise.
Well, modeling wise, it has affected a lot. I haven't done anything during the summer or even after that as well. Cricket, we missed half a season. So we did start in July. So we did manage to get half the season in. And construction it's been going through, to be honest. I think there was one industry that never really closed.
Yeah.
Because I think our PM wanted to basically not let the economy down. So he carried on with the construction. Even now, we are really busy. Or I think all the firms are really, really busy.
Yeah, because I remember during the lockdown, builders were allowed to go to work and stuff. So
exactly, and because people they've been getting a lot of loans and stuff, bounce back loans and all of this, so they've been using that to basically refurb their houses.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. That's what they're using that for. So builders have been really busy.
which is obviously a good thing for yourself being in that industry. But as you say, the
Absolutely.
modeling and the cricket side, not so well.
Yeah.
And as I said in the introduction, you're Mr. Manchester 2018, Mr. British Isles 2019. So that's not the typical sort of like modeling for like a brand or something. That's like is that a pageant? Is that the correct term?
It's just a pageant. So you just get contacts. So if you win, obviously you get loads of prizes and gifts and this and that, and then you just get contacts. So when I won Mr. British Isles, I was invited to Spain, Marbella.
Yeah.
So I had a really nice photo shoot there for about 3 or 4 days, and then the COVID hit. So since February, we've been trying to do a few things, but we couldn't. So I think we're starting back in April, when I'll start shooting again for some of their stuff. And I think it'll be Mr. British, not 20, but 21. Then I would have to go back in and hand my title to the next guy. So we'll have that ceremony as well.
Oh, is that a thing that you actually have to do? Like the previous person has to
Yeah,
hand it to the next person?
yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So we'd have to do it in April now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's like added on into a pageant that like is it's not just based on looks, because I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong in this, like, but in like the Miss Universes and things, they have to do like
It's very
showcase
similar.
talents.
Yeah,
Okay.
showcase your talents. Then they even ask you. There's a question and answer round as well. And yeah, the way you walk, obviously they check that. And yeah, we had 3 rounds. So we had a casual round, a smart round, a Q&A round, and then I think there was a gym body round as well. And then yeah, on the basis of that, they basically give you marks.
What was your talent?
No, so we didn't. I think talent was for girls, so they didn't
Okay.
really ask us to dance or sing, which was good
Right,
for me
okay.
because I can't do either.
That's not bad. Then
So
got away with one there.
yeah.
And
I think my Q&A, the question I was asked was that if I had the power to do one thing in life, what would that be? If I get to change anything, and my answer was that I would remove poverty from the world. That everyone should have food, shelter, and clothing. That's their basic necessity, and I think everyone should have it, no
yeah,
matter what. And I think that really I think all the judges really liked the answer. That gave
I
me a
don't
lot of
think you could go
points.
wrong with that answer there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, no one's gonna
trust me. There were some people with some weird answers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were some really funny answers. Somebody wanted to be a Superman. Someone wanted to be. There were some funny answers there.
I was gonna say, because when you hear them, most of the answers are like what you said, is like end poverty, end world hunger,
Yeah,
or stop all wars and things like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
But being Superman, I'd love to do
I
it, but it's
know.
quite selfish, isn't it?
I know.
If you had to choose maybe one or two things that you think that the general public, when they think of your your career, basically, or your occupation as a model,
Yeah.
what do you think the general consensus is, and what do you think like the biggest rebuttals to that, or what do you think that the general public might not take into consideration of like the difficulties of the job that you do?
I think people really tend to think that it's very easy. That you can take a bit. Well, it is easy to get into the business, but it's really hard to survive in the business. If you think that you can start on day one to become a model and that'll be a permanent job, I think that's where they go wrong.
Hmm.
If you want to start modeling, you can start at any age, even if you're 50 years old. But then when you're starting something, you should be doing something side by side.
Yeah.
Obviously, for your daily expenses, you should be
Yeah.
doing something side by side, and then have modeling as a career on the side. And then when it starts to do well, then obviously you leave your job and then focus more on your modeling.
Hmm.
But that's what some people don't think. They just want to go in and just do modeling, which works for some people if they're extraordinary in what they're doing. if you're not, then you do need a side business or a side job, and then your modeling will go side by side. I
Yeah.
think that's what I would say to people.
Yeah, I was I can't remember if this was like a conversation I heard or a conversation I had, but recently a good way that somebody put it was everybody wants to be X, so fill in the blank.
Yeah,
It could be professional footballer, it could be model, it could be entrepreneur, but on top of what they're doing currently without putting in the extra work, if that
any
makes
effort,
sense.
absolutely,
Yeah, like
absolutely.
they don't schedule like the time that and the effort that goes
Yeah,
into it. It's like, oh,
yeah,
I'd love to be a model, but have all the free time that I have now.
yeah,
And it's like that's
exactly.
not how it works. Like if you
It
want to be
doesn't
the
work like
model,
that.
you've got to sacrifice that free time.
It doesn't work like that. And even, to become an extra in a movie, you have to wait there for like hours and hours and hours, and they might not even need you. So
Yeah.
you'll go there 8 o'clock in the morning, you are there till 8 o'clock in the evening, and the assistant director would come and say, "Thank you very much, pack up and go home." They won't even need you, and
Oh
but you
no.
have to sit there because they're paying you X amount. It could be anything. If you're starting, then might be what, £30 or £40.
Oh
So
really?
you're sitting there for 12 hours doing nothing, and then you're made to go home. So, which is not nice.
Yeah, I can
Not
imagine.
nice. So,
Um
um,
on your what is the link that you have, the show me link? What is it called?
but look,
It said that you were an extra and an actor and things. I was just wondering what you'd been in.
oh, Star Now.
Star Now, that was it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that is one of the apps or one of the companies that I've signed up with, which actually takes away an agent or a middleman. So you just sign up with that app, you make your own profile, you put your pictures in it, you put your experience in it, and then somebody will look at that, and then it gives you a list of about 500 jobs that you can fill a form and send it to them. Look, I want to apply for this job. If they like you, they will look at your profile and they'll pick you.
Yeah.
So it takes away the middleman, and I think that is really nice. So that link gives you your profile. If you click that link, that will go to your personal website, which is done by them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think every person should actually do it. All they have to do is just put 10 pictures of themselves, and just go from there. You don't really need a big photo shoot,
Yeah.
or a portfolio. I know you needed it back in the days, in the 90s and the 80s, when there was no social media. Now, if you've got any job you apply to, the first question they ask is, "What's your Instagram handle?" Because they will get all the information from there. They will know how you look. They will know how you present yourself. That's all they need, to be honest. They
Yeah.
don't want to know anything else. If you've got a good Insta handle, you will get the job. That's how
Yeah.
simple it is now.
That's crazy. You think there's like so much more that goes into it, but it's
Yeah,
true. Like even like when we were going through school and things, they would basically teach you and say, look, when you're going for a job, make sure your social media, whether it's
Hey,
Facebook, Instagram, whatever,
yeah,
is either private if you don't want to show
yeah,
anyone what you're doing,
yeah.
or you've cleaned it up properly before you apply for any
Exactly,
job. Because the
exactly,
last thing they want to see is on like a Monday night, someone's getting smashed in a pub and then you expected to go in Tuesday morning. Do you know what I mean?
exactly,
But
exactly.
it makes sense. Yeah, everything. Like even for the things that like I've been doing these past podcasts, like a lot of the information that I get is basically off people's social media handles. A lot of the questions
Absolutely,
that I formulate is just
absolutely.
because you just scroll through the pictures and be like, oh, I wonder
Yeah,
what the story is behind that picture or whatever it may be,
yeah,
which is the information on there is like unfathomable now.
yeah.
Um,
And
but sort of transitioning into your second love or third love, because you've got construction, we've got modeling,
yeah,
and now cricket as well.
yeah. It'd probably be my first love, to be honest.
First,
Yeah, yeah. A game that I admire a lot. Obviously, I follow other sports as well. I follow
Mhm.
all the sports, to be honest. Motor racing, football, hockey, tennis, all the sports, but cricket, obviously, I admire the most. Growing up in a country which was massive,
Yeah,
still
yeah,
massive for cricket. So yeah, with cricket, so I was out of the game for about 6 to 8 years when I was working, and then I was working in Radlett one day. Um, we would just make a new restaurant there, and I saw signs for a game, a county game, Middlesex versus Hampshire. And I was like, that's strange. Why would Middlesex play in this town?
Yeah.
So, and then you can't even find the cricket club in Radley because it's just behind some residential area. But it's a lovely ground. It's a first class ground. So I went in, I saw the ground, and then I saw players like Owen Morgan and Brendan McCullum and all of those coming out. And I was like, yeah, I would love to join the club. And then next day, I went in, I joined the club, and it is one of the biggest clubs in the country.
Okay.
So the groundsman for that club was awarded the Groundsman of the Year award last year. And then Middlesex is normally their England captain, normally trains there. So it's a good club to be involved with. We've got about 300 to 400 kids signed up with that club. So we do a lot of coaching as well on the weekends. I do manage one or two underage teams as well, under 14s I did last year, and obviously play cricket as well. And then when I found out about the club, I went on to do my level 1 and level 2 coaching badges.
Is that something you do with the club?
I do with the club as well. Yeah.
How many levels are there for coaching?
So level 1 and 2, obviously now it's changed again. But if you want to be level 3 and 4, it's exactly the same thing as modeling. If you want to go into it, you have to give a lot of time.
Okay.
So if you're level 2, you can coach young guys and you can coach adults as well. But then it always limits you. But obviously, when you go into level 3 and level 4 is more about international coaches and people who have been coaching international teams and domestic teams. So if you want to do that full time, you have to focus on that. You can't be doing 2 or 3 other businesses or other jobs.
Yeah.
But level 2 will give you enough information to coach basic things to cricketers, to young cricketers.
And at the end of the day, you're doing it as a passion as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's probably like the sweet spot sort of thing.
Exactly. Obviously, once I retire, I probably want to look at being level 3 or level 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not at the moment.
The big question: when India against England, who do you support?
Always India.
It was India.
Always.
To be fair, I did write down that question thinking you were born in Manchester. So when I heard that you were born in Delhi,
India.
I was like, yeah, the answer's probably a lot easier.
No, even if I think even if it's Ashes, I support Australia. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. There's a thing that I have against England, but I just have it.
Just for cricket or in all sports?
No, just for cricket. So I love England football team, so I follow them. I'm a big United fan. I'm a season ticket holder for Man United. But when it comes to cricket, I just don't like English cricket, to be honest. Wow. There's so many reasons, things that goes behind the scenes as well. But yeah, there's so many things. Many reasons.
Some of these things that you're gonna
especially the World Cup as well. The way the final was won by England, I think it was the most disgraceful moment in cricket history. You can't give a trophy to somebody on the basis of how many boundaries you scored. And then one of the kids did mention that to me. So when we went for coaching a month later, one of the kids come up to me saying, "So are you saying scoring 8 runs is not as important as scoring 2 boundaries?" Which is exactly the same thing. They're both 8 runs, but England won it because they scored more boundaries, which doesn't make sense if you think about it. And that's what. So what do I tell a 12-year-old? They're going to hit boundaries. Don't take singles.
Yeah, true.
So I think it was a massive issue. I know it's been sorted now, but it should have been sorted on the day.
Some real passion coming through there.
Very adamant. They should have shared the trophy. That was simple. They should have shared the cup, or you should have played a game again, or should have had another super over. There were so many things they could have done.
Yeah.
But of course, they wanted to give it to England.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not very well versed in cricket. I think the couple of matches that I watch, mainly India versus Pakistan.
Were you there?
I wasn't there. No, I've never
It
been to
was on
like a
TV.
live cricket game. Yeah, I watch it on TV though. I watch it on
You've
TV
got to.
normally.
You've
Yeah,
got
just
to.
because Dad still likes cricket and things, but I'm more
Okay.
of like a football boxing sort of fan. But when that comes on, I think that encapsulates like your patriotism sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like
know.
that's the
So
one game.
I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning because India is playing down in Australia, and the start time is 4 o'clock.
To be fair, you get it in all sports. I'm the same with boxing. If there's fights on,
Right, exactly,
there's fights
exactly.
on this weekend. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Canelo. He's a Mexican
Yeah,
fighter.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's fighting tomorrow night at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
roughly against
So
Callum Smith, and I'll be watching that.
you got to exactly. So it's the
Yeah,
same.
that's the one. I think everyone does have the one sport that is king of the hill, and then the other ones that they sort of
And
follow.
I think it's good to have it. It's good to have it. It's good to take your mind off your job, your family. So many things that you think about all day.
Yeah,
It's really good to have your mind off it and then think about sport.
definitely. And plus, just the physical sort of activity. Like
Absolutely.
if like you enjoy participating in the sport, I
Yeah.
can't say that I enjoy participating in boxing. Sorry, been to like an MMA gym once or twice, and speaking to Inder Basti a couple of episodes ago, it was the
Yeah.
hardest workout that I've ever
It's
had.
crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
Unbelievable. I
I
had to
know.
take a breather. I was like, I'm
I
about to
know.
faint over here, so just you carry on.
I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for about 6 weeks, and I
Okay.
was like, no, that's it. That's it for me. I'd rather run on the treadmill.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's meant to
it's
be like
hard.
really mentally stimulating as well.
It was. It
It's like a
was.
game of chess with your body. That's what
Yeah,
people like
yeah.
explain it as. Did you not go back just because of the tiring
Not.
nature of it, or?
Yeah, I think it's good if you want to learn it for self-defense. I think it's amazing, but then you have to put a lot of time again, and
Yeah,
I just don't have enough hours in the day to
yeah.
do all of that as well.
So do you stick to the gym as your primary like
Yeah,
fitness?
yeah,
Yeah, same. To be fair, same. I don't mind a bit of five-a-side once in a while, but
yeah. Exactly,
mainly the gym.
exactly.
Mainly the gym. Who do you look at more closely in cricket? Like who do you follow like individually? Um,
Uh,
uh,
I really looked up to Jack Callis of South Africa.
okay.
Um, so he was, I think, probably the most underrated cricketer. Not many people take his name, but if you look at his records, they are very similar to Sachin or one of the big names. But because he's South African, because he's not Indian or Australian or English, um, he's not regarded as one of the best. But in my eyes, he's probably one of the best cricketers ever to have
Yeah.
played the game. And obviously Virat as well now.
Yeah.
Um, he is absolutely amazing. No matter what people say about his behavior on the pitch, I think it's good to be arrogant. It's good to have ego if you can back it up with your
Yeah.
performances. If you can't back it up, then no point being arrogant.
Yeah.
But he's doing it. He's doing it for a, a number of years now. And if you look at his journey from where he was in 2008, I don't know if you know about that, but just before he was picked for under 19 Indian team, he was playing a match for Delhi, and he heard the news that his father died.
Okay.
So he went to his father's funeral and came back the same day and scored 100 for Delhi,
Wow.
which I think was a big thing to do. It takes a lot of courage
Definitely. I didn't
to
know
do
that.
that.
That's massive.
So I think he earned a lot of my respect as well when I found out about that. And then obviously his transformation from 2012 up till now. In the last 2 or 3 years, he's turned vegan as well.
Oh,
So
has he?
yeah, so to be at the top of your game, probably one of the best cricketers ever now, to not eat meat, to not drink milk, and still be one of the fittest cricketers around is just amazing.
That's
It's
crazy. I didn't know
absolutely
that either.
amazing.
I think he's probably
Yeah,
one of the only top athletes that
absolutely.
adopt that lifestyle. But
Yeah,
something that you said before, like that arrogance, like I feel like that is part of, for me, not a massive fan of cricket. I still know who he is really well because
absolutely.
I think he's like transcended the sport, and that's
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
it. Like you see
yeah.
Conor McGregor's in the UFC, arrogant. You see
Exactly,
Cristiano
exactly.
Ronaldo in football,
Yeah,
he's arrogant, but they back it up, and I think that's what takes him to the next level.
yeah. If they can back it up, fine. And you know what? He's Virat is a completely different person off the field. He's
Yeah.
so nice if you talk to him. So I've met him in person. He's so nice to
Okay.
people when you meet. And if you look at his interviews on YouTube, he is so humble, and he will basically tell you how everything happened, how he transformed, and how he thought fitness is so important when it comes to playing a professional sport. It's
Yeah.
not about if you know how to hit a ball, you can be a cricketer. It's all about fitness. It's all about how you can get from A to B quicker than another guy. Um, which so it's all about sports science in every sport, and you've got to be fit if you want to be amongst the best.
Definitely, which is very different from someone like Freddie Flintoff, who just
Exactly.
has a
He
pint
didn't really
before and
care.
after a game.
He,
Yeah,
he didn't care. He
but
didn't
that's
care.
part of his appeal is that
So
he's the
exactly.
drunken
So
English sort of
somebody
character.
asked him that if we give you a time machine, if you go back in time, would you change something? He said no.
Yeah,
He said I had fun, so I don't want to change nothing.
yeah. But
Uh,
this is the different thing. So like the arrogance has worked, and the dedication has worked for you likes of Ronaldo and Virat, but the sort of lovable fool sort of
yeah,
character has worked
exactly.
for Freddie Flintoff.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think everyone
exactly.
has their
So
own like personalities, which
yeah,
just like
but
likable
but I think
characters.
it's the longevity as well. So Freddie was good for 3-4 years when he was at his prime,
Hmm.
and someone like Ronaldo or Kohli, they've been doing it for 10 years, even more
Yeah,
than that. So Ronaldo has been doing it for 14 years now.
yeah,
So and then if you think about your fitness, if you think about your goals, your long term goals, you will do something for longer, and you won't basically hate the game. You will love the game more and more.
definitely. And I think what also helps is, as you were saying there, is like the sort of sports science sort of side to it. Like
Yeah,
I'm not too sure about Virat, but the way that you were speaking there, it sounds like he probably will adopt, sorry, a lot of like sort of technology sort of edges to make sure his game's on point. Whereas like
absolutely.
Ronaldo's obviously been known to do that as well as like every little
Yeah,
percentage, and
detail. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
There's a reason
It's
why he's
exactly the
34,
same.
35 and he still
It's
looks like a
exactly like
28.
Virat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually looks at every little detail, and he
Mhm.
wants to be perfect in that. And that's why his aggression is shown on the field, because he wants to be perfect. He don't want to make a mistake. Even if he makes a mistake, he gets angry on himself,
Yeah.
which I think is a brilliant thing to do. Some people don't agree with that, but I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
He's
No,
very hard on himself. He doesn't even have a cheat meal. Forget the cheat day.
yeah.
He says, when I'm playing cricket, when the season is on, not even a cheat meal. He said, not. He doesn't even think about it. That's how dedicated he is.
Yeah. I was
So
gonna say dedication, yeah, commitment. But when you get to that level, do you just embed your nutrition into your lifestyle that you don't need it? Do you know what I mean? You don't need the cheat meal because like a few people like when I've spoken to um a few like personal trainers and things while I've been doing this, is a lot of them basically just say you don't want to have the idea of a cheat meal in your head because you want something, a diet to be sustainable. When people think of
exactly,
diet, yeah,
exactly.
but when you're at that level, like even milligrams of salt probably make a difference to
Yeah,
you. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, I quite this is a good thing about sport. Although like I might not know the most about cricket, is most of them have the same characters and have the same
Absolutely,
dedication in it. So
absolutely,
it's all like one.
absolutely. That's why one of my friends who I was talking to, somebody you know as well that I've mentioned earlier. So that's why he talks about that the players he works with, even though they're professional footballers, but he tells them that look, you might be a very good athlete. You know, if you do a 100 meter or 200 meter race, you will be very good at that. So look at that. So that's what sports science is about. It's about knowing the person. So a footballer might be a very good cricketer, or a cricketer might be a very good basketball player, the way he jumps. So there's so many attributes to sports that people don't think about. Even sports people don't think about. They're very one dimensional. That I just want to be a footballer, or I just want to be a cricketer. But with kids growing up, we want them to basically showcase that there's so many things you can do at the same time. So I don't know if you've heard of Elise Perry, Australian cricketer. She's the only girl who's played cricket and football World Cups for her country, which is, I
Okay,
think, a great achievement. to do. And then there was a point where she was given a choice. Look, that's enough now. Either or, just choose one now.
Yeah.
So she had to let go of football and she chose cricket. And then she won 3 more World Cups after that.
But she got to an elite level in 2 sports.
She got to that level. And we've got some South African players who played hockey, football, cricket, 4 or 5 different sports. And still they're so good in cricket. There's a name, Avid. I don't know if it rings a bell, but he's actually played football, hockey, rugby, and cricket professionally. And he's just amazing at what he does. So he's
That's
just retired from cricket.
Freak of nature, though, like genetically,
absolutely,
physically.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And the last thing I want to touch on, like in cricket, was that I seen on your Instagram you did the KultureKast tournament as well.
Yeah.
Could you just talk about how that came about, what it was?
So KultureKast is very close to me. I do some work with them as well. And then one of my friends, Andy, who works very closely with Ravi Uncle, founded KultureKast. So we were just speaking about organizing a cricket tournament. So we did speak to a few charities. Few charities turned us down for obvious reasons, because some of them wanted to do it themselves, and it's so many things in community which still keep us divided. But we wanted to do it. We wanted to basically unite everybody. We still managed to get 8 teams out. We did a tournament in Hounslow last year, and it was a success. We would have done it again, but due to pandemic, we didn't. But I think it was a great day out. We'll probably do it again next year. So the money we raised obviously went to KultureKast, and yeah, it's just a great charity, and it's amazing what that person has done for our community and for other communities as well.
100%, could not agree more. Like, you look at a human like that and you just think, like, how he's achieved so much. Exactly. It's the only words. Like, you see the pictures from like Iraq and Syria and things, and
absolutely,
you can't not get touched like emotionally by that.
He started doing it when people didn't even know what Iraq and Syria is. So he started that in '98.
Yeah.
And then he's been doing it ever since. And I think that's just great. I think that human is God sent.
Yeah.
He's amazing. And when you meet him as well in person, he's absolutely amazing. You actually get goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's how big of a person he is.
Man, I'm getting goosebumps. You just describing it. Like, I've got goosebumps.
He's absolutely amazing. Amazing guy.
It's not the only the only sort of charity activity you've done, I think, because I seen like lower in your Instagram there was a few other times that you'd had like charity functions. What were they?
Yeah, so I do a lot of work with a charity called Basics of Sikhi.
Okay, yeah.
So they do a lot of Sikhi Prachar all around the UK. It was started by Jagrat Singh.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about him, but a massive figure in the Sikh community in the UK. He sadly passed away a few years ago as well due to cancer, but a massive figure. Someone I always looked up to as well. So he started he started a charity called Everything's 13. Everything's Tera, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had 4 or 5 branches with Kiddy Sangat, where we teach a lot of kids, young kids, about Sikhi. And we got Basics of Sikhi who do a lot of prachar. Then we got something called the Sikh PA, the Sikh Press Association. So they look after all the Sikh issues all around the world, which is a massive initiative as well. And that was needed for our Sikh community because there wasn't a voice.
Yeah.
So Jaggi and even what's going on in India at the moment, farmers' protests, we needed somebody, and then Sikh PA, those guys are doing it for us. So yeah, I did a lot of work for them. I still do it. Very much connected to them.
Yeah, definitely. Like that is good. And the thing is they've embraced like technology as well. So for the younger generation, like that's our go-to devices is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and when you can get information, like obviously as you alluded to there, the farmers' protests in India, like the amount of support and unity that's came from the community.
It was amazing.
It is really good.
Absolutely
Obviously, there's
amazing.
still strides to go. It's still ongoing,
Yeah,
but
and I think I'm so glad this happened,
yeah,
because it's actually divided our whole community again. Actually united it. I mean, the whole. I don't know if you were in London that day or if you went to Birmingham,
hmm
but it was absolutely amazing. The amount of people that were in London
yeah,
was crazy. Even in India, because my family is based there in Delhi.
yeah.
They're telling me that is absolutely amazing, and the work they're doing. I know they're protesting, but they've been serving langar
That's it.
to people there. And then even Carl Said has gone out there. They're doing amazing seva as always, and
Yeah.
it's actually united the Punjab and Punjab community again, which is a great thing.
Well, that's sorry. Well, that's it, isn't it? It's like it's a unity sort of thing. It's not just it's not religion based. It's not caste based.
Exactly,
It's not anything based other than basic human rights. Which I think
absolutely.
when you boil it down to just the fundamentals, it gets rid of all the other bakwas
Exactly,
that just clouds everything else. Do you know what I
exactly,
mean?
exactly.
There's not
Yeah, nothing
there's
to
no
do with
other way.
religion there.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
there's no
absolutely.
other way to describe it other than that. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it is just it's really pure, and that's what
yeah,
shines through.
yeah.
Um, honestly, this has been like a really cool conversation for myself. I've really, really enjoyed this. Like, I came into it quite, as I said beforehand, before we started, as I came into it quite ignorant onto like the modeling thing. But what I've learned, not just in that field, but was also surprised of like the property side of things, the cricket, the charity work is all combined. It's been a really good conversation. So I
Brilliant, man.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having me.
No
Thank you
worries.
for having me.
What I like
Um,
to do at the end is just some quick fire questions, if that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I finish
Go for
every
it.
episode with the same 4 or 5 questions. Just like
Okay,
to get everyone's take. They're quite deep, so they're not really quick fire, but
okay.
yeah. What are you most proud of?
I don't know, nothing that I've done so far. I'll be proud of something that I'm working on. I think if you ask me that in the next 6 months, I'll be able to answer that. Something big I'm working on.
Okay, because I know what that is. I'll keep that
Yeah,
for a later date. This is going to basically be the same answer. What are you most looking forward to?
I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to my cricket season, especially on Sundays as well, because I've been signed up by a team, an elite team to play Sunday cricket in East London. So I'm actually looking forward to that new season as well. So hopefully the pandemic is gone by then. I really
Definitely.
want to play.
What's your biggest motivation?
Um, as a person, or
Any way that you want to answer it. Any way that you
um,
get.
I think there's just few individuals that I've looked up to throughout my life. My granddad to start with, and my friend who sadly passed away. I really looked up to him as well, and then obviously Pai Jagrat Singh from Basics of Sikhi and Ravi Uncle from Khalsa Aid. So all four or five of them are my motivations. I really look up to them, and obviously take their advice as well whenever needed.
Yeah, that's dope. What is your definition of success?
Um, I think your mind, if you're happy with whatever you've done, I think you've succeeded. Um, Even though it's not money related or anything else, even if you haven't got the full benefits that you deserved, if you're happy with the amount of work that you put in, I think that's success for you. Um, and even if you're playing a cricket match or a football match, even if you lose, you have succeeded in some way by learning from your mistakes. So I think that's success. If you're happy with what you have done, I will say that that'll be success for you.
Perfect. And the last one, as it's the KultureKast podcast, how do you think your culture has affected you in your journey thus far?
Oh, a big time, a really big time. Just learning about my own culture, and um, obviously I've learned about my culture more in the UK than being in India, which is very strange.
Yeah,
I've been connected more to my culture and to Sikhi in the last 4 to 5 years, which is very strange. But Yeah,
Why
being
do you think that
connected
is?
to. I don't know. I think I probably lack of knowledge. Even if you're Punjabi and you're from Punjab, I know people they can't read or write Punjabi, even if you're born there.
Yeah.
You've gone to schools there, and then I've learned most of that here, which is very odd.
Mm.
Obviously, I'm from Delhi, so I never learned Punjabi because it wasn't taught in schools. It was all about Hindi there, so I can read and write Hindi, but I couldn't write Punjabi. Um, but here, going to gurdwaras and going to classes and so many things, basics of Sikhi programs and question and answers on Sundays, listening to their English katha have actually had a massive impact on me in a positive way. So yeah, I absolutely loved it.
That's amazing. That is a good way to finish up. Again, thank you. All of your, well, it's only your Instagram that's public, really, isn't it? So I'll
Yeah,
leave that in the description. And is there anything else that you want to finish up with?
no, that's all. Something we'll talk about very soon.